Cable Television presents high school football. For the play-by-play of today's game, here's Bob Lorry.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to Kenny Rowe Field. We are having our opening ceremonies as you join us. Now the pledge to the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce the award-winning LaSalle Senior High School Explorer Marching Band, under the direction of drum major Ms. Miriam Volpe. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Well, there's a LaSalle band, and it's a very fine moment here at this high school to be able to present this outstanding group of young people under the direction of Pat Krzyzewski. Now back to football as we look at the cheerleaders on the field, and now the captains will be coming on the field. I'm Bob Lorry with Lou Panessa, and we have what we think is an exciting matchup today. LaSalle figures to be the dark horse in this division, and Newport was picked by the preseason selectors as the team to beat. Now, Newport started in a kind of an awkward way, getting beat by Medina 29-20 last week, and LaSalle was the only Division III team to win when they beat Newfane 14-13. Louis, here's the starting lineups.
Right now, I think we're getting the coin toss in the middle of the field. First, you see the captains. First for LaSalle, number 62, Ken White, and number 52, Frank Komarek.
Komarek and White both had outstanding games in that win against Newfane. They're the linebackers.
Introducing the Newport captains, number 19, Scott Pedley, the quarterback, Tom Smith, linebacker, and Todd Foringer, a linebacker running back.
Of course, Pedley had a touchdown pass in the opening game. The running back, number 22, Al Saccone, had 72 yards. He's the big offensive threat for Lewiston Porter, coached by Harry Lawler.
LaSalle's won the toss, Bob. They'll be moving from left to right, and Newport will be defending the goal to our right. LaSalle receiving the kickoff. And again, as you mentioned, Newport was looked to be the big team in the section this year. They got spanked in their opener by Medina, getting off to a slow start, rallying, but falling a little bit short. LaSalle, meanwhile, the only Section 6 team to win last weekend. And with a big line, could be the dark horse, as you said. And these are the two teams that figure to be there at the end of the year, just judging by the early action this year. No real dominant team around.
Here we have the Newport Lancers being introduced. This is Jimmy Cabello, who is a split end, a senior, 5'8", 148 pounds. Number 73 is Brian Britton, an offensive tackle, 6'1", 211 pounds. Number 60 is Rick Plant, a senior, 5'8". He's a guard, weighs 185 pounds. Number 71 is David Wright, a senior, a center, 6'1", 183 pounds.
Number 66, Bob Philbrick.
Bobby Philbrick is a junior, a guard, 6'1", 240 pounds.
Number 78, Jeff Garner.
Number 78 is Jeff Garner, a junior, a defensive tackle, 6 feet tall, 215 pounds.
87, Craig Everett.
And Craig Everett is the end, a senior, 5'11", 171 pounds.
Starting at quarterback, number 19, Scott Pedley. Pedley.
Scott Pedley, the quarterback, is a senior, 5'9", 173 pounds, had a touchdown pass in the opener against Medina. Dave Osijo is a very fine receiver. He's a senior, 5'6", 144 pounds. Here is Tommy Serace, a junior playing in the place of the injured Fatani. And here's little Al Saccone, who's a junior, 5'6", 145 pounds, rushed for 72 yards and over 600 yards for Lewiston Porter as a sophomore. Al Saccone,
We
number
seen him
22.
last year in a matchup between LaSalle and Lew-Port out at Lew-Port's field, and what a spark plug he is. Really elusive and a tough little back to bring down.
That was the game, Lou, that you made your introduction here. It was a 7-6 win for Lewiston Porter and was played at Harry Blakesley Field. But Louie and I teamed up on that game, and we'll be together all season long, bringing you high school football. Now the LaSalle Explorers, coached by Chuck Sirianni, had to win against Newfane by a score of 14-13. There's a defensive back, Steve Ward, a senior, 6 feet tall, 170 pounds. There's Bobby Cardamone, a junior, 6 feet tall, 150 pounds. Here's a linebacker, number 42, David Wilson, 5'6", 160 pounds. Another defensive back, Robert Reeves, 5'8", 160 pound, a senior.
Co-captain number 52, Frank Komarak.
Frank Komarak, 52, 5'11", 185, a junior, and a co-captain.
Co-captain number 62, Ken White.
Ken White, another co-captain, a senior, 6'2", 230.
Starting at linebacker number 63, Chris Cannon.
Chris Cannon is a junior, 5'10", 170.
Starting at defensive end number 64, John Miller.
Here's John Miller, 6 feet tall, 200 pounder.
Starting
He's a
at
defensive end.
number 73, Pat the Brady Bunch Brady.
Here is the very awesome Pat Brady, only a junior, 6'5", 255, number 73.
With his new jersey on, number 88, Jerry Mazenka.
Wearing a new jersey for today's game, Jerry Mazenka, number 88, 6'4", 210.
Number 99, Thomas London.
And the other linebacker had a very fine game against Newfane, Tommy London, a senior, 6 feet tall, 195 pounds. And you can see both teams have some size, especially the Explorers.
LaSalle definitely has the biggest offensive and defensive line in the section.
Good look at the Explorers as they leave the field to huddle around their head coach, Chuck Sirianni. Last year, LaSalle was 1-8, and Lew-Port was 3-5. And of course, we mentioned in our opening remarks about the fact that Lancers, with over 20 players back, 14 who were starters, obviously were picked to be a strong contender in this league, and they were jolted by Newfane. We had a chance to see Newfane play on Friday night against Trot Vocational, and they have a very, very fine football team. I'm said Newfane, I should say Medina.
And Medina defeated Trot just the other night. Trot, of course, last week a big winner over Niagara Falls High School in our first telecast of the year. And you notice that Trot had a pretty fine running game, so Medina obviously tough against the run to shut out Trot.
And Medina, remember, is a Division 7 school, so if you judge it that way, the Division 3, the only team to win last week was LaSalle Senior High School. Lew-Port, as Louie mentioned, will kick off. And we have several man deep. Number 1, Scott Bax is the deep man, but the ball goes to 34. That's Franklin Starks. And he brings it upfield before he's gang tackled at the 30-yard line. And we're underway from Kenny Rowe Field.
Just an indication of what we might yet see quite a bit. Bax returning the ball, slipping as he first tried to handle it. The field is a little wet, had a lot of rain, still kind of gray and overcast, and just a slight drizzle every once in a while, but the field's going to be wet. Good drainage on this field because it has such a big crown, but it's still wet and could play a factor.
Number 56, Todd Strong, was the young man who kicked off for Lew-Port. Now we'll look at LaSalle for the first time on offense. Number 10, Sloan Cox, who had a touchdown pass last week, is the quarterback, and he gives off on the first play to Starks, and Starks picks up a yard or two to the 32-yard line, where it'll be second down.
Well, we've got yard markers this week, Bob. Anyway, at least they've got the 5-yard stripes marked off for us a little bit. Still tough to see across the way and what numbers they are, but we should be able to give you a little more accurate assessment of where the ball is today. There's number 7, Steve Ward, bringing in the play.
Lewiston Porter noted for their defense, their 4-4 defense, coached by Lou Carreri. Now facing the Explorer offense with the junior. Sloan Cox up from the junior varsity program. Inside handoff, gets the ball to the 35-yard line. It'll be third down.
Scott Bax running the ball inside. Looked like he was first hit with a face mask, but referee obviously didn't see the penalty. It was in the interior of the line. Tough to see. We had the vantage point up here. It looked like somebody grabbed him around the head. But
you can see the Lancers huddle at the 36-yard line, and they will be on defense. It will be third down. Newport trying to make a defensive stand here as Ward comes out of the ball game. They alternate running into plays. They probably would like to run to the side, to the right side, where you see Brady, number 73, is lined up, and that's the way they go, right over Brady for the first down.
Right over Brady. It was a huge hole that Scott Bax skirted through, and it easily made the first down, bringing the ball out to about the 42-yard line. Right side of the LaSalle line opened up a huge hole in that 4-4 defense of Newport.
Beautiful offensive blocking by the Explorers on that particular play, and that accounted for the first down. LaSalle has sustained the pass at this point in the game. We're in the first quarter. The opening drive, Cox, the quarterback, gives off to the second man, and he is met right at the line of scrimmage. Everybody on the Newport defense appeared to be waiting for that particular play, including number 81, David Boyington, number 75, Steve Beatty. Did a good job.
Good penetration that time. Just as we said, LaSalle had blown a hole in the Newport defensive line. Newport came right back on the very next play and penetrated that LaSalle offensive line, stopping the play for, I don't know, almost a yard loss.
9:24 to play in the first quarter from Kenny Rowe Field. We're just underway. Back to pass goes Cox, under pressure and throws, and it's deflected and almost picked off.
Number 75 for Lewiston Porter, Steve Beatty, his hands up. He's a 6-foot defensive tackle weighing 242 pounds, so there's some beef over there. There'll be some good matchups. It's going to be the place to watch, I think, in this game is in the trenches.
Number 40, Tommy Smith, was the Newport defender that had a chance. He slipped as he tried to pick that pass off. And again, the wet turf has come into play on an overcast day. On a dry field, Smith may have had the interception. He's a junior, or excuse me, he's a senior, 5'6", 178. Up here to look for Tom Smith, number 40, one of the co-captains for the Lancers. Cox throws, and it's good. And it's going to be very close to a first down as Cox makes connections with number 40, David Zacher, a junior, and it brings the ball into Newport territory.
Nothing more than a quick slant-in timing pattern there. They're going to be just a yard or two short of the first down.
Actually, the ball is at the 44-yard line of the Lancers, and it's a decision time for Coach Sirianni.
Looks like Sloan Cox is walking out. LaSalle's back in punt formation. Number 1, Scott Bax, will handle it short.
It appears that Bax is going to punt, although Newport doesn't believe it. High pass for center, and he does punt with no one back. Now, I guess Saccone is back. I didn't see him, as our view was obstructed, and you can see Saccone come upfield and met in a very
good pursuit there by the by the LaSalle field coverage team. Saccone bounced outside of the containment of David Zacher, but the good pursuit from LaSalle made the recovery and brought him down, and Newport will start off 1st and 10 at, let's see, what is that, about the 24-yard line?
Pedley will be the quarterback. We mentioned Fintani was injured, so he won't be in the lineup. They run Saccone on the first down, and the little back darts his way up for about 6 yards as he gets over the 30-yard line out to about the 32-yard line.
I don't know what kind of speed Saccone has, but he definitely has some quickness, and he's shifty, which makes him all the tougher to bring down.
Now, Saccone, as a sophomore, was very small as far as the weight factor was concerned. I understand he put on about 20 pounds and did not lose any speed. Exciting back, number 22, Al Saccone. Penalty flag before the play gets underway. And it's against the Explorers, lining up in the neutral zone. That'll be a 5-yard penalty.
Illegal entry into the neutral zone by the Explorers.
You can see the official, Jerry McKinney, discuss the call with Scott Pedley, number 19, and then move the ball downfield 5 yards.
And with that penalty, Newport has first down.
At the 37-yard line. At their own 37-yard line. Pedley puts Adams out here to the left. He threw a touchdown pass to Adams against Medina, but he gives off inside, and very little yardage on that play as the LaSalle defense was stacked up in the middle. And London, number 99, gets off the pile after making the tackle.
London given credit for the tackle.
No real deception on that play, just pretty much a straight dive, and LaSalle defense held its ground. It's second down and long.
Cerace, 43, was the ball carrier. He's playing for the injured Fintandi. Tony Cerace, 5'8", a junior. Now they run Saccone out here behind some pretty good blocking. He breaks the tackle and comes upfield, and then they have to force him out of bounds. They had Saccone back at the 35-yard line, but he got into LaSalle territory with some nifty running.
Good play by number 44, Robert Reeves. Hitting Saccone behind the line of scrimmage. Unfortunately, not hard enough. Here's the replay, not hard enough to bring him down, so I guess it wasn't that good a play, but...
There's the play, and you see Cerace fall on top of Reeves, and then you see the run by Saccone, and now he's dragged out of bounds. It's a first down.
Put the hit on, but didn't wrap the arms around, so Newport gets the first down.
Quarterback Pedley back to throw, looks and throws, and it's overthrown.
Oh, with his sights set on that one for LaSalle, number 32, Bob Cardamone. If that pass was just down a little bit, he'd have been off to the races. He had his eyes set on that interception. He played off his receiver and then cut in front.
Craig Everett, number 87, was the intended receiver as you look at the LaSalle crowd.
Pass intended anyway for Everett.
Ball at the 46-yard line of the Explorers. Now we shift to the other side of the field, and you look at the fans here from Lewiston Porter. Quarterback Pedley inside to Saccone. He tried to run him inside, which is difficult to do when you're 5'6", 140 pounds, especially when you're running against Pat Brady, who made the tackle.
Newport using a three-man backfield, and they did a double power play that time in which the front two backs lead the trail back, in this case Saccone through the line, but LaSalle fighting off the blockers well and holding the play for no gain.
The analogy would be Saccone running like Tony Dorsett inside. You don't usually run a small back inside. They try to run that play. Here goes Pedley on a quarterback keeper, and he's going to get close to a first down and has one as they have to knock him out of bounds.
Wise choice by Pedley to run the ball. We got a great block out there by number 30, Dave Osejo, who's a wingback, senior 5'6", 144 pounds. Not a very big guy, but he puts a very big block out there, which allowed Pedley to scamper for the first down.
You'll see it on a replay here. You see Pedley, looks like he's going to run all the time as he gets outside. And then he's finally knocked out of bounds. First down. Inside the 30-yard line. A sweep to the left with Saccone. Oh, another good block out in front. Got Saccone that yard or two.
LaSalle defense spreading that out very well. Number 99, Tom London, in on the tackle, but Saccone had nowhere to go on that play.
The LaSalle cheerleaders trying to exhort their team to hold this Newport drive defensively. 5:27 to play in the first quarter. No score in the football game.
You know, Bob, we said that LaSalle played that defensively well. It looked like Saccone had nowhere to go, but, you know, we look up now and he gained 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, very deceptive runner. Seems to be falling forward all the time. Here's Pedley back to throw under some pressure, and he delivers it, and it's incomplete. Looking for Everett again, 87. Everett turned the wrong way on that pass. He was well covered by the LaSalle defenders.
Number 32, Bob Cardamone, and also in on that play, 63, Chris Cannon.
So it'll be third down now. And Kerry Lawler will try to come up with a big play. Quarterback Pedley has Surace and Saccone behind him. Osijo split out here. Pedley drops back and throws. He's hit as he throws, and it is knocked down by Foringer. No, excuse me, knocked down by Robert Reeves, 44.
Number 52 for LaSalle, Frank Komarak, a co-captain, a junior linebacker, shot through there untouched and really put a big hit on Pedley.
You can see Reeves congratulating himself after that defensive play. He had that ball in his sights all the way. You look at it on the replay now, and you'll see Reeves looks like an outfielder, just ready to bat the ball down. He's got his man covered. He's in front of him.
Good choice not to intercept that ball, I think, on that play. Now it brings up 4th down, and Newport having to go for it out there on the 25-yard line, where he's brought down there at the 1-yard line. LaSalle has a poor drive start.
Pedley drops back and now swings it out to Saccone. They're going to try to run a play with Saccone. He needs a block. He gets it, and he comes upfield.
Looks like he might have a 1st down. Bad choice there on the defense of Robert Reeves. Didn't keep his outside containment.
Bobby Philbrick, number 66, cleared the path for Saccone. The extra yards that Al needed for the 1st down, and he picked it up thanks to a brilliant block by number 66, Philbrick.
Guess it wasn't such a wise choice. Guess you should never turn down an interception.
Yeah, you never know. Possession of the ball is, they can't score when they don't have it.
That's true. That's
the
true.
rule, but I agree that that would have been the call. Surace up the middle for short yardage.
It wasn't like it was right in his hands. It was just a one-handed type deal. But
you can see London 99 getting off the pile. He made the tackle. We're close to the 20-yard line. Again, that part of the field, that portion of the field is unmarked. For some reason, they marked the middle of the field and then stopped. Here goes Saccone to the right, behind some blocking, and he sheds a couple tacklers. He's a difficult young man to bring down.
Number 42, David Wilson, had a shot at him in the backfield but couldn't bring him down. Saccone just darting in and out, quick, elusive.
Surace, 43, threw a good block, held up his man at the line of scrimmage, and allowed Saccone to get about 5 yards.
Bob, you know, you work for the Board of Education. You have to pull some strings down there.
I don't pull strings. They pull me. It is 3rd down. And Pedley's going to throw. And he's got a man. And it's Adams for the touchdown. Number 14, Adams.
Beautiful
for the
play.
Touchdown.
A beautiful touch pass by Scott Pedley. Good coverage on the play from Robert Reeves, but Pedley threw it in the only place he could. And it was the perfect place for number 14, Scott Adams, to haul in the touchdown pass. And quickly, with 3:21 left in the 1st quarter, Newport grabs the lead. Here it is again. Watch this pass. Beautiful over-the-shoulder throw by Pedley to number 14, Scott Adams. And Newport grabs a quick 6.
Reeves was the defender who was beaten on the play. Saccone, who does everything but sell popcorn, will kick the extra point. And it is good. And the Lancers lead by a score of 7-0 as they held the Explorers on the opening drive, took the football and marched it right down the field, culminating that drive with an 11-yard scoring strike from Scott Pedley to his what's turning out to be a favored receiver for the touchdown, Scott Adams, number 14.
Well, Newport started that drive about their own 24-yard line and went 76 yards with it. Good mixing of plays, running Saccone in and out and throwing the occasional pass. The last one being, of course, the scoring strike to Scott Adams. 3:21 left in the 1st quarter, and Newport leading LaSalle 7-0.
So the Lancers are on the board, and they score on a pass play from quarterback Pedley to Adams. And now they will kick the football off. Todd Strong, their junior, will kick it off. And once again, Starks is deep along with Scott Bax.
One of the keys we should mention to that last drive was Saccone's big run on 4th and 6 for the 1st down.
That was the key play in the drive. And now Bax comes up the middle and now gets to the outside. And an outstanding run by Scott Bax, who is run out of bounds right in front of his own bench.
You called that right, Bob, and that's how a lot of kickoff returns are broken. Sometimes the return brings it up the middle, it finds nothing there, it kicks it outside after all the containment has rushed to the middle.
Here's the kickoff and the return again. Watch backs do just what Louis said now. They'll come up the middle and then break outside.
Sometimes your outside men on your kick return defense converge on that little bit middle a little too much, and you can bounce it outside. Backs almost took it all the way there.
Quick hitter with backs running the football to the almost the 50-yard line, just shy of the 50-yard line. Scott Backs had a very good football game in LaSalle's win against Newfane.
LaSalle shuffling in and out plays with number 7 Steve Ward and number 32 Bob Cardamone. Looks like they're getting some good holes opened up here on the right side of the line behind number 73 Pat Brady and number 62 Ken White.
Good rush that time, and the pass is dropped. There you can see the defender for the Lancers right behind Steve Ward, who was the intended receiver. Number 16 Don Quarantello was behind Ward, who could not make.
Here's a replay. Ward definitely open on the play. Just unfortunately, Sloan Cox did not deliver the ball well enough. A little too low. You want to keep it low to avoid an interception on a play like that, but too low didn't reach him, and now we've got 3rd down and about 7.
You saw hard-charging Jim Thomas for the Lancers get picked up on a good block on that particular play. Now we got a penalty flag. And again, it's against, this flag is called against the Explorers.
Illegal procedure. I didn't see what the call was about. Came from the far side of the field, the flag was thrown. That's the second penalty against the Explorers, second one in the game, both of them 5-yard variety, and not what you want on a 3rd down play. Now they have 3rd and 12.
Watch 53 Thomas on defense for the Lancers. He gets a good rush from the outside. Here's the quarterback back to throw. That was Thomas that was in on that play, and you saw Starks, who's an outstanding basketball prospect, juggle the football, and then he just couldn't make connections. As you look at Orlando Mazza, one of the assistant coaches along the sidelines for Chuck Sirianni. Now here's the replay.
Yeah, you called it. 53 was the man to watch in this play. He disrupts the pattern of number 34, Frank Starks, on the play, coming from the outside. And that 4-4 defense does present some problems because it gives different blocking assignments than the offensive line is used to, that they see normally throughout the year.
Saccone is deep, and Backs, his punt is straight up in the air. Let's see what this ball does. It bounces back, and of course, Cardamone makes a good choice by downing the ball, because it would have probably rolled back further into LaSalle territory. As it is, the ball's at the 37-yard line of Newport. Very short kick by Scott Backs against whatever win we do have out here today.
I think more or less it wasn't the win, but a good rush by Newport in that play. Backs hurt it a little more than he would have liked to. Good field position for the Newport Lancers.
And they already lead by a touchdown, Lou, so let's see what they do on this drive. Pedley back to throw again, and he does over the middle. This pass is going to be caught. Oh, a miraculous catch.
Number 32 for LaSalle, Bob Cardamone, all turned around on that play. Then number 30, Dave Osijo, just came down with it.
That ball looked like it had no chance of being caught or making connections, and Osijo just kept on running, and the ball just kept on floating. Watch this now as Pedley just puts it up in the air, and watch how Osijo runs under it.
He threw it up for grabs, and
Cardamone had his back to the ball.
Luckily for him, his man came down with it.
So Pedley, there's going to be, that'll wipe out that play. That was a dead ball call against the Lancers. Before the play started, it's a 5-yard penalty.
Oh, we've got just under a minute left in the first quarter. That's the 3rd penalty already. This is the first to be walked off against Newport. All have been the 5-yard variety, and these are the kind of mistakes that the coaches want to minimize, especially in a game that this could be a very big game when we look down at the season.
Ball just outside the 20-yard line at approximately the 22, where the Lancers will start their offense. Quarterback Pedley gives inside to Saccone, and he's dumped after about 2 or 3 yards. Frank Komarak, number 52, one of the co-captains, outstanding defensive football player, made the tackle. You can see Paul Fortunate winding up the defense along the sidelines. Paul in his first year at LaSalle Senior High School. Here's a sweep with Saccone. He cuts inside and he has to be dragged down.
Saccone doing a good job there and getting something out of nothing again.
Pat Brady made the tackle in the first quarter. Comes to an end with the Lancers enjoying a 7-0 lead on the touchdown pass from Pedley to Adams and the conversion by Al Saccone. I want to remind you of a event coming up on September 21st at Jane Park. A memorial trophy will be dedicated that day to an outstanding young man who only spent 14 years on this earth, but in 14 years probably showed more courage than all of us do in a lifetime. That young man was David Gumbert, who succumbed to cancer, and his memory will be enshrined with a trophy on that date. So if you get a chance, stop down to Jane Park on September 21st and honor David Gumbert, a young man who wanted to play football but just couldn't.
There we go, 3rd down and 6 to start the second quarter. Leuport driving down LaSalle territory again. They hand off to their bread and border man.
Yep, there's Saccone, but you see the flag. Behind some good blocking that time. It appears to be holding. It is holding. As you can see, Jerry McIntyre's signal. And now he'll discuss this, which really doesn't lead to any discussion because you know there aren't any options in this.
Good blocking on the play, you're right, Bob, but unfortunately they didn't get away with it. There's that fine line. You could call holding on every play, I guess.
That'll bring the ball back out.
Big number 73,
to the 24-yard line.
Hustling over to the sidelines for LaSalle.
There's Paul Fortunate. Joe Rulli in picture. Joe Rulli, one of the assistant coaches, along with Orlando Mazza. Here is out of the shotgun. Pedley throws. Good. Over the middle to Adams. And there's no one around Adams for a while. And then Komarak comes up to make the tackle.
What happened there is Leuport sent their wideouts deep. And then on a delay sent Scott Adams out short. Komarak had taken a deep drop. And Adams picked up the pass underneath. Here's the replay. You'll see it. Leuport sends the wideouts deep. And then just underneath, here comes Adams.
See how much time Adams had to run the football before Komarak came into the picture, and now the timeout. Larry Favorite from Lewiston Porter. Fans watching the game.
Leuport very impressive on offense this afternoon. LaSalle has yet to stop them.
Harry Lawler on the field talking to his quarterback. He's got to be happy with what's going on so far.
It's been a good balanced attack. Saccone rushing inside and out, more effectively outside. But Leuport has to be happy that Scott Pedley's throwing the ball very well.
Well, they were down 29-0 against Medina last week, and then in the last 8 minutes, they rallied to score 20 points. So maybe they have put their offense together. They have 7 already, and we're early in the second quarter as we switch now to the LaSalle huddle. Paul Fortunate on the field.
Trying to rally the defensive troops. Figure out a way to stop this Leuport machine, which is controlling the ball and marching up and down the field in the 2 possessions they've had. Right now, they're all the way down in deep in the LaSalle territory, about the 15, maybe 10-yard line.
Here's Pedley, sends Saccone in motion. And Pedley goes straight ahead with the football and picks up a big chunk of yardage.
I'm sure he has the option
down
on that play to come up to the line of scrimmage, and if he sees something, I'm sure he's allowed to just take off with it. He did there and gets the first down. And now we've got first and probably it has to be first and about 4 yards to go for a touchdown.
Ball placed just inside the 5-yard line. Pedley looked like he called that play after Harry Lawler was on the field, suggesting that he might do that during the timeout. They run Saccone. He cuts inside. Right down to the 1-yard line. That shows you the ability of Saccone to cut back.
More often than not, he has cut back on those wide sweeps. LaSalle is containing well to the outside, but they're not.
Well, they have to respect his speed, and they sort of move to the outside, and then he knows that, and then he cuts back up the middle, and that's what makes him an effective runner. Now let's see if they go straight ahead. You can see where the ball is at the 1. LaSalle's called a timeout. You can see the point of the ball just shy of 1-yard line. Nice camera work. So we've had 2 consecutive timeouts, or didn't have one in the first quarter. Now LaSalle has called one after Newport called one.
Second down and goal, and LaSalle needing a big defensive stand here. Would hate to trail by 2 touchdowns this early on. Still 10:24 left to go in the second quarter.
Franklin Starks, number 34, comes to the sidelines. There's Harry Lawler talking to the rest of his offense as you see Pedley walk around behind him. They're in that choir boy huddle made famous by Notre Dame a few years ago. Ball at the 1-yard line. Will they go straight ahead with Pedley, or will they run Saccone, who's done the bulk of the work? Sarace is the up back. They go straight ahead with Pedley, and he's got a touchdown, and the Lancers lead 13-0.
Good offensive surge off the ball was all Pedley needed to dive in from the 1. And Newport goes up by a couple of touchdowns. You're right saying Saccone's done most of the work aside from those 2 quarterback draws, or quarterback keepers, if you might call them, by Pedley. That's all of Newport's rushing yardage.
Number 71, David Wright, the center, deserves a lot of credit on that touchdown by Pedley, because he was the man who powered the LaSalle defenders backwards and allowed Pedley to get in the end zone. Here's the kick by Saccone out of the hole of Pedley. And it's 14-0 as we play here in the second quarter. And the Explorers trail by 2 touchdowns and 2 converts.
LaSalle coach Chuck Sirianni's got a quick decision to make. He trails by 14 points with still 10:21 left in this first half. And does he abandon his ground game already, or does he stick it out and try and march the ball down the field once here?
Well, remember, LaSalle strength was in its line, its offense and defensive line, and at this point in time, the offensive line has done an adequate job. The defensive line is being handled by the offensive line of Newport. And Coach Sirianni's problems really lie with the inexperience at the skill positions. So it may be difficult for them to come from behind.
That's something he had mentioned as early as the preseason, saying that he was so confident with his line, but wasn't sure what he had at the quarterback, running back, and the wideouts. Right now, he's going to have to find out.
Here's the third kickoff for Todd Strong, number 56. And the ball in the direction of Starks. This is Franklin Starks. Right up the middle. Right into a pile of defenders. Out to about the 34-yard line where the Explorers will start their offense. Trailing by a score of 14-0. Next week, Louis and I will look at Niagara Catholic, a football team that has been very successful. 2 wins in a row, defeated Barker, and Friday night destroyed St. Mary's of Lancaster by a score of 32-0.
We'll catch them on their homecoming game with St. Francis. It's a 4 o'clock start at Sam Agley Stadium. You'll see it Friday night.
Look at the pressure and the tackle by number 75, Steve Beatty, on the quarterback.
He wrapped up
Cox.
Sloan Cox, who had eluded an earlier rush, but ran right into the arms of Steve Beatty, who just said hello at 242 pounds of hit right here.
See the pressure inside, and now the tackle. by Beatty, 75. He was all over him. And of course,
Just like a bear, 242 pounds, wrapping up 165, and he's almost got him doubled.
I think the Lancers probably felt the sting of that loss to Medina. They look a little fired up. They may have read their press clippings going into that game, and they're going to start making those press clippings pay now. Here's pressure by Thomas, who's clipped, and there'll be a pass thrown downfield, and it's going to be knocked down, but there was a clip on a play.
That was all for naught, as you said.
Number 11, Shippey, made the defensive play on that pass, which is a well-thrown ball. But you saw the
rolling
clip.
Out to the left, which is a tough throw for a right-handed quarterback. Maybe a good penalty there because he avoids the sack. You take the chance, and if you get called, you get called. But you got to do something to protect your quarterback in that situation. He'd already been sacked the play before.
I guess in that stage of the field, or that position of the field, Louis, they call that holding, because that's what the man did. He actually tackled Thomas, who was trying to come in there to make a defensive play.
Well, we've got third down and almost 20, make it 18 yards to go for LaSalle.
LaSalle needs a big offensive play. They tried to get it on that pass play. The ball was well thrown. Once again, the quarterback, Cox, goes back. This time he hands off, and Starks gets a lot of yardage, but he had a lot of yardage to get. He got the 10 yards they lost, but they still have about 8 or 9 more to go, and it'll be 4th down.
Newport just backed off into a prevent defense there. Interesting to see that LaSalle, we were wondering what to do. They did come out throwing on the first 2 plays. Unfortunately, the offense went in reverse on those plays. Came back with a draw and gained 12 yards, but still faithful with a 4th and 8 and a punting situation.
So they're going to have to kick in the direction of Saccone. He's the lone back, which would always indicate a return. Now they may go with a block right here. Here's the block. It's coming. Thomas is there along with a few friends. And they have the quarterback or backs all wrapped up. You know, I said a moment ago it would indicate a return, and actually what I should have said was it indicate an attempted block, and they sent everybody but Saccone. They said everybody but Saccone, and that's why they got it. Now watch the high pass from center, and watch the Newport pressure. You'll see Thomas the first man.
Head coach Harry Lawler noticing before that the LaSalle snap was a little high, this time even higher.
That was Scott Arnold who made the tackle. And here goes the running back, Saccone. See him bounce off that man? He was stopped right at the line of scrimmage and bounced off. The tackler picked up.
Not only is he quick of feet, he's quick of mind out there. He really is, he just never gives up.
Number 42, David Wilson, to help out defensively. As you look at the very concerned Explorer sidelines.
For LaSalle here, Bob. No doubt about it. They can't be trailing by 20 points in the first half and expect to come back.
Inside goes the Lancers on a running play. They ran Surace, and they got very short yardage. Didn't seem to have too good a footing on that particular play. Third down.
3rd down and 3, and this is a big play for the LaSalle defense. They've yet to stop Newport.
They're shuffling men in and out, trying to come up with the play. There's Jerry Mazenka, number 88. Here's the quick pitch to Saccone. Mazenka sticks an arm out, and there goes Saccone for what looks like a first down, and is. Down to the 4-yard line.
LaSalle caught in a blitz on that play. Number 99, Thomas London, shot right through and nailed Pedley, but not before Pedley got the ball off to Saccone. Here it is on the replay. Watch the blitz up the middle.
Yep.
Boom. But Saccone catches the ball, gets it on the outside, eludes the arm tackle, cuts it inside, first down.
And you see what happens now when speed goes against size. Right now the speed is winning.
1st and 4 at the LaSalle 4-yard line.
Penalty flags are down, and Pedley still has the football. This will be a dead ball call against the Lancers, and it'll be a 5-yard penalty. It'll move the ball back to the 9-yard line. 6:20 to play in the first half. The Lancers on a drive already leading by a score of 14-0. Quarterback Scott Pedley with his mouthpiece out. Now he inserts it. from the 9. Look out for Adams on this play. Now they run it. And that may have not been a wise choice as Surace gets nowhere. They're trying to keep the middle of that LaSalle defense honest by running Surace.
That's basically what that play was all about, just to keep him honest and get some heat off Saccone, who heat or no heat, has been galloping through.
Johnny Miller, 64, made the tackle. Second down from the 8. Now they switch Adams to the other side. And they run Saccone, and he runs right by 2 people. And he had to be dragged down inside the 3-yard line.
Number 64 for LaSalle, John Miller, looked like he was just about ready to feast on Saccone, and before he could put a hit on him, he was gone.
So with 5:18 and running.
4th down at the 4-yard line. Let's see what Newport decides to do. They've had great success running the ball on 3rd and 4th down and converted all of them.
I think it's 3rd down. I think because of the penalty, I think the public address announcer said 4th down, but I believe it's 3rd down.
Yeah,
Remember, they had a penalty on the first play.
They've corrected it on the scoreboard as well. So Newport, again, is converted all of their 3rd and 4th down plays. Be interesting to see what they do if LaSalle does stop them here.
A possible alternative would be, if they are stopped, to have Saccone kick a field goal. He kicked a couple last year. That's an alternative for Harry Lawler and his Lancers to ponder. Meantime, the Explorers have a lot of things to ponder, and that is basically how they're going to stop the Lancers.
And you know, we're talking about the running of Saccone, but let's not forget those 2 long passes thrown by Scott Pedley have kept LaSalle's defense honest.
Pretty good mixture of offenses and defenses. You look at our Niagara Frontier truck. Now, Paul Fortunate leaving the field. Looks like Johnny Madden with that tag on.
He still hasn't come up with a solution yet. He's on off the field a few times. 3rd and 5 from the LaSalle 5.
Pedley, the quarterback, runs around here to the right with plenty of time and throws, and it's into the hands of the LaSalle defender.
63, Chris Cannon had his hands on it, but running backwards just didn't keep enough balance so he could bring the ball in.
Well, the field goal team was coming on the field.
Here's a replay. Pedley rolling out to his right here.
He looks like he throws this ball right to Cannon. Well, actually, he does.
Throwing into a maze, not a good choice to throw the ball.
He was looking for a Cijo. No field goal, they're going to go for it. They figure they'll give the ball back to LaSalle if they don't score. They throw, and it is almost a touchdown as Starks put his hand up, but the defender, Adams, was in the end zone behind him.
It looked like a long version of what they call the extra point special. The extra point special, of course, you start off at the 2.5-yard line. Newport did it there from the 5. It's just send the receiver running right for the corner of the end zone. The quarterback lays it up and tries throwing over the shoulder catch. It's almost undefensible, but it's not a very easy pass to throw.
5:02 to play, and the Explorers have held. So now let's see if they can put a drive together and get back into this football game. The Lancers lead 14-0, and they have controlled the game from the opening whistle.
Tough field position for LaSalle, starting out 14 points down.
Cox gives off to Bax.
He's got plenty of room, one man to beat.
Yardage. And a first down. Nice run.
We almost saw a
Bax.
95-yard run there. A one-man to beat. That was number 16, Don Quarantello, and he made the open field tackle on Scott Bax. Scott Bax had daylight. Here's the replay.
You'll see how Quarantello has to come up to make this play. Watch Bax turn the corner. There it is. And now there's the tackle by Quarantello.
Then it would have been a foot race between him and Tim Shippey.
First down for the Explorers. Cox goes back and gives off inside to Bax. And Bax looks a little bit like Saccone as he darts inside, running the ball inside.
LaSalle line got their pride damaged a little bit here. They're starting to open up some good holes and reestablish themselves.
Well, they got the size in that line. Brady, White, Mazenka, Miller, and big people, 6'5", 6'2", and 6'2", so they can do the job, and they've done it on these 2 plays.
Can understand Coach Sirianni wanting to run the ball while he was in close to his goal line. It was good strategy, and I don't think he should abandon the run right now. With still 4 minutes left in the first half, trailing by 14 points. It's not too early. It's not too panic time that you should give up the game plan. LaSalle has that big line. They've been doing fairly well running the ball. I don't think they should abandon it yet. I think if they can march the field down with a running game here, they'll be right back in the football game. And
well, he's a gambler too. He's a gambler, and of course, if he scores, he may go for the 2 points. 14-8, you're right back into the game. It's third down. Here's the pitch. They're going to run backs again.
Great defensive play by Lew-Port defense. They smelled that out.
That's Thomas, 53, getting some help from number 40, Tommy Smith. Made the tackle. Langley, 55, was there.
You know, LaSalle's doing very well in the first down plays. It's just they're lacking the execution on second and third. The 3rd and 3 is good conversion down. They've had that quite often and haven't converted. Now back to punt again. Scott Bax for the 3rd time today.
Let's see what kind of pressure. Saccone is the lone back, so we may get that same kind of pressure on backs. From the outside, now they're going to... Well,
good snap from center, but he was a little bit worried there, and he rushed himself, and well, just like we saw the New York Giants in a playoff, he just fanned on it.
Sean Lanetta did the same thing in the playoff game, and now it's happened on a high school level. It's what you call in golf a shank. Gives you the yips in golf, and it gives you worse problems in football.
I think Scott Bax was he just remembered the pressure he'd been facing back there and how the bad snap came. He just rushed it.
Gives the Lancers the ball at the 32-yard line, with Pedley having Surace and Saccone behind him and going to throw. Get some pressure and throws. Intercepted.
Did he get his feet in
out
bounds?
of bounds?
No, the referee said no.
Cardamone made the interception, but you can see that he was well out of bounds when he caught the football.
Tried to get his feet down, give him credit for it, but just not enough room. The pass was thrown out of bounds by Pedley.
Cardamone's got great speed, and if he can pick one off and stay in bounds,
LaSalle needs that big play right about now. That's for sure. They haven't had much right go their way this first half. Need a turnover.
Second down. They run Saccone. He gets a block. He gets outside. He's got a first down, and he's out of bounds. Saccone behind the blocking of 43 Surace. That was the block that got him free, and once he gets outside, it's very difficult to tackle Al Saccone.
This plane is a definite definite good gain from the word go, because Lewiston Porter guards and tackles out there lead blocking. When they were throwing their first blocks, they were 5 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Pedley, the quarterback. Lancers on a drive here. Now they go the other way with Saccone. Oh, nice tackle. Finally got Saccone around the ankles.
77, James Madison in on that play.
Now somebody got Saccone where you got to get him, around the ankles. You can't tackle him very high. He darts under you.
Got 2nd down and 8. And we're at about the LaSalle 12-yard line.
Got to look for Adams here if they throw. Pedley back, looks for Adams. There it is, and it is broken up.
Oh, great play by number 1, Scott Bax. Recovered in time, just got a hand on the ball and tipped it away. Otherwise, we'd have saw another 6 for Lew-Port. And that Pedley to Adams combination is clicking.
Yeah, you can see that play coming. They flank Adams off by himself, and they try to get him on that. Well, here's that one-on-one coverage, see? Now Bax goes back with him, and that pass is just a little underthrown and gives Bax time enough to make the deflection. Good defensive play by Bax.
I wouldn't say it was such a bad pass by Pedley. I think Adams should have run his pattern a little harder. You didn't, maybe because of the wet field, it didn't seem like he drove the defender off him on the cut. He was running an out pattern and didn't take a sharp cut or drive the defender to the inside of the field, which you like to do on an out play to give yourself that extra step. On the
got
pattern,
another timeout here, Lou.
Yeah, on the pattern, I don't think Adams did that well enough, and it allowed Bax to recover.
Harry Lawler on the field, young lady at the game. Checking out the score. Harry Lawler exhorting his troops to get the right men on the field here on a big third down play. Lancers up by 14 points. Explorers have been on defense most of this game. There's Brian Swayze, the PA man, Steve Leopold, our cameraman, and the rest of the crowd.
Didn't see us because we're behind Steve.
They don't want to give us too good a view of the game.
2 minutes
come
left
out
in
of
the
an
first
eye.
half. It's 14-0 Lewiston Porter. They're driving on the LaSalle 12.
There's Saccone. Look out. He's into the outside. I don't think they're going to get him. He runs to the flag. Touchdown. Backs tackled him at the 1, but Saccone was in the end zone. He got outside.
Oh,
20-0.
Bax was caught inside on the play, his cornerback position.
See what Saccone does, and you'll see it here. He lures you inside. See that little step inside? Now he goes outside. And there's the touchdown. He makes you think he's going to go inside. And that's why it's 20-0, and Saccone will attempt the extra point.
David Wilson, the LaSalle linebacker, also sucked inside on that play. There was no outside containment at all.
Pedley's holding the kick. He's 3 for 3, and it's 21-0 in the first half. 1:53 to play.
Well, what do you do now if you're LaSalle head coach Chuck Sirianni? You're down 21-0. You got 1:53 left in the half. You really don't have a great passing attack. Do you run the ball down the field and take it in at halftime and try and regroup, or you're going to try and put a quick 6 on the board?
What you do is you sign Jim Kelly for $8 million. And you tell him, give me 21 points in a hurry. The only thing you can do is try to score a touchdown before the half comes to an end, because emotionally your team has to be drained. They're down 21 points. And not very many things have gone right for LaSalle. So what they want to do...
just run the ball and pack it in, or do you...
No, I don't
going to
think
pass
so.
the ball up and down?
Well, depending on the circumstances where the kick lands, I don't think. I think you try to do something to get your team emotionally up going into the dressing room.
Okay.
But circumstances may dictate what you can do.
If they're backed up against their own goal line, it's a moot point right now.
Strong will kick off from the... And he'll kick in the direction and right to Starks. Let's see if Starks goes up the middle. I don't know why he does this.
Okay, they've got good field position now at about the 35-yard line.
When I say I don't know why he does it, Lou, because I like to see him bounce to the outside once. He's got great speed, Starks, and he has outstanding athletic ability. His father, Franklin Starks, probably was one of the very best high school basketball players to ever come out of Niagara Falls.
Well, here we go. Just 1:30 left in the first half. LaSalle trailing by Bundle, 21-0 on their own 35-yard line.
See what they do, Lou. They're going to throw here if they can. They do throw. They got a man. And it's just overthrown. Nice pass.
I don't know if the defender fell down or not. Number 17, Derek Johnston, I think, had the coverage, but he was nowhere near number 40, David Zacher. He had at least 10 or 15 yards on his closest man.
Well, I like this Cox. He gets the ball there. I thought Zacher might have kept on going, and it was a bang-bang play. That's the kind of play that that turns games around.
That was the big play that you said LaSalle needed. It was certainly there. Just unfortunately, the execution wasn't.
You can't
LaSalle close, but no cigar.
Right, you can't fault him for the play. The play was there. It just didn't connect. Now Newport really spread out defensively, realizing there's going to pass is coming up. So now you can see how Cox can use his speed. Look out, that may be a late hit.
No call. I think he should have ran for the out of bounds. He's got to remember there's only a minute left in the first half.
Now they're going to call a timeout. It appeared that 75 Beatty fell on top of Cox after the whistle had blown, but the official didn't see it that way. Let's see what you think after Cox. See how he can beat these defenders here. Now he's down, and there's Beatty. Now what do you think?
I think I'm glad I'm not Sloan Cox. Beatty, the 242-pounder again. It looked a little late.
It certainly wasn't intentional, but
Yeah.
just wondering what the officials are looking at.